Pokemon has seen so many changes over the years. New forms, new mechanics, new systems, but over 2 decades of Pokemon history, one thing has never changed for me. Out of the 700 plus choices, Metronome is still my favorite Pokemon move. Wiggle a finger and boom, random move out of nowhere. Who knows what's gonna happen? It's fun, it's dumb, it's almost completely non-competitive, and it's been around since the beginning of the Pokemon games. I said exactly this in a video about my favorite Pokemon moves 6 years ago, and my opinion still stands today. It's the ultimate gamble. And hey, if they're gonna take away my in-game gambling, at least they haven't taken away my Metronome yet. Once upon a time, dozens of Pokemon could inherit the move through an actual Metronome TM or even a move tutor. In today's era, no Pokemon from Gen 5, 6, or 7 is able to learn the move. Even when revisiting the old Kanto stomping grounds with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, I found that they had taken my old Metronome TM away. This leaves us with just 3 Pokemon that can learn the move: Clefairy, Clefable, and a $50 bill. Personally, I'm not gonna stand for this. This is revisionist history, GameFreak. Don't you dare pretend like Metronome isn't the greatest thing you've ever done for this game. And you know what? I'm gonna show them. They think Metronome is trash that nobody wants anymore? I'm gonna prove them dead wrong. I'm gonna solo the Elite Four with Metronome only. So naturally, because I am not in ownership of $50 bill, that means I'm gonna go solo Clefairy. If I'm gonna have one Pokemon on my entire team, I feel like I at least deserve the youngster Joey treatment. This Clefairy's gonna be in the top percentage of Clefairy, because I caught 300 of them in order to force feed them the max amount of Clefairy candy. We also found a shiny along the way, which is absolutely sick. Let's go with that one. And now it's feeding time. 200 candies coming right up. Thank God I dedicated an entire video to making things that can push the A button for me. Candy in this game is busted. My Clefairy went from these kind of stats to this. That is literally broken. This Chad Clefairy now has stats somewhat comparable to a level 100 Candyless Charizard. Now, I don't want this to be a blowout. I want to earn it. How about this? Clefairy gets to keep all that candy, but once it learns Metronome at level 18, we stop leveling it. I think we can legit do it with these stats. They're that good. Just catch like one Chansey and the experience should be enough to, that is a lot. So like I said, once we hit level 23, no more leveling. That's all we need. That and some PP. Metronome is unfortunately a 10 PP move, and if that's gonna be the only thing we're using, we're gonna need to pump up those numbers. PP Max boosts that up to 16, but then we're at the mercy of ethers and elixirs. Like most Pokemon games, our PP recovery items in Let's Go are a finite, non-purchasable resource. Thankfully, I was a bit of a hoarder in my casual playthrough, so I've got 13 in my inventory right now. Doing the math, that gives me 166 PP recovery. Let's start with a couple test runs on Gym Leader rebattling. They also use Pokemon in the level 60s, and I feel like it should be a decent gauge of where we're at. Let's go Blaine. I know he's up for a little gambling. First Metronome of the day, spin the wheel. What are we gonna get against Blaine? Oh, yo, Earthquake, let's go! Oh. That is probably one of the single strongest moves Metronome can pull. And it was weakness. And it did like 2/3 Magmar's health? That's concerning. One thing I immediately learned is that our beefed up level 23 Clefairy is a double-edged sword. Or more appropriately, a double shielded shield. It can take a beating, but it's definitely on the weak side. Immediately, I start to appreciate things like status effects and multi-hit moves. Anything to push this petite puffball past potential problems. This is a constant war of attrition. Attrition and explosions. So initially, I thought we were spinning a roulette wheel every time Metronome triggers. But in reality, we're spinning the barrel of a revolver. Metronome is Russian roulette. One wrong move, and boom, it's all over. Sometimes I'm just happy to see a non-damaging move because I know that at least it isn't self-destruct or explosion. Okay, what are the odds of this? I feel like I'm a ticking time bomb about to go off at any second. So of course, we did the research, and the results were pretty surprising. Twitter user DeWobblefet helped me decipher a data mine from Cathodics in order to find out exactly what move pool Metronome pulls from in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. It turns out that Metronome in this game can select any move with an index number between 1 and 164, except Counter, Mimic, Metronome, Mirror Move, and Transform. So right off the bat, based on these stats, we've got 2 moves that will instantly kill me out of 159. That's a higher than 1% chance that Clefairy goes nuclear at any given moment. So that's scary. But even scarier for me was the realization that this game's Metronome can't pull a single move that was created after Gen 1. Which is bizarre, because Let's Go's packed full of moves from newer games. What the heck? I took a quick look around at what other moves Pokemon can use in this game from later gens, and I'm missing out on a ton of firepower. Just look at all these 70 or higher power moves that we're missing out on. Outrage, Fire Blitz, Mega Horn, Sledge Bomb, Moonblast? Oh no! I just realized, because Clefairy and Clefable are now Fairy type, and Metronome can't pull moves beyond Gen 1, and Fairy moves didn't exist until Gen 6, Clefairy will never use a same type attack bonus move. So the odds definitely aren't in our favor. But as Han Solo once famously said, I think we can do it anyways. And guess what? Han Solo is absolutely right. Level 23 Clefairy was able to come out on top over various gym leaders, usually only needing 1 elixir for the entire fight. It's not going to be pretty, but I think our green-eared Yoda is ready for the Elite Four. Right from the first second you enter the Elite Four, another weakness of his gets instantly exposed. Iron Tail. Lorelei's first 2 Pokemon lead with Iron Tail, and it's just miserable. First Dugong, and then Alolan Sandslash, who has the Steel Stab bonus. For one, it's a move that hits for weakness, but the real issue here is that the attack lowers your defense 30% of the time. Our whole gimmick is that Clefairy is a tank that slowly chips away at our opponent's health. But when we get hit over and over and over again, it's gonna drop our defense by 4 to 6 stages, and we lose the one good thing that we had going for us for the rest of the battle. Most runs, by the time I hit Sandslash, I'm getting 2-shotted. And it's not just her either. 3 Elite Four members have access to Iron Tail, and the champion does too if you're playing Let's Go Eevee with Raichu. I have complete confidence that this Clefairy would destroy the regular Elite Four, because they're at level 50, way less Iron Tails, 4 less Pokemon. But since we're in the end game now, all I have available to me are the tougher Elite Four rematches. I decided to go deep into the cheese to see if we could whoop the Elite Four with the power of money and drugs. X defense, X attack, X special, dire hit, all of it. My main strategy is just pumping Clefairy full of drugs to overcome the Iron Tails, and then finally, when we get to +6 attack and special attack, can we actually one-shot stuff? It's actually disgusting. If we sit and take the time to juice this thing, we are pretty much unstoppable unless we... Absolutely unbeatable. Nothing can beat us except for ourselves. Please, please. Or finally at Agatha for the first time, I beg you, please just give me an attacking move. The problem is, we have evolved. This is no longer a game about chance and wacky interactions. It's now a game about not exploding. If we don't explode, we win every time. And we don't even have to worry about PP as much because we're hitting a lot harder. It's around this point of the journey that I've reached this sort of weird struggle. I want this challenge to be an actual challenge, but I also want it to be fun. Too much power and we're unstoppable. Not enough and we're dying immediately. I tried some other variants like level 60 Clefable, but no battle items allowed. But all this did was make battles where I'm too strong and the only thing that can stop me is the usual. I'm sure there's a perfect cross-section of skill and luck if I just keep messing with other levels, but maybe the true secret to proving the greatness of Metronome isn't the end game. Maybe we need it the entire game. Let's take it back. All the way back. I found a mod for Pokemon Yellow that gives every Pokemon Metronome as their only move with 40 PP. I went ahead and gave ourselves Pokemon Pink version to continue the legacy. Plus, here I can play the game on Turbo, which gives us a whole lot more game in a whole lot less time. And boom! Right off the bat, I'm getting destroyed by Gary's Blizzard, roasted by a Rattata, annihilated by Pidgey using Dragon Rage. I'm getting my butt kicked, but it's kind of amazing. No matter how many times they send me back to the Pokemon Center, we can come back. Stronger, but more importantly, maybe a little luckier. This is it. We found it. This is the ideal Metronome challenge. Okay, so it turns out that even my own custom Metronome world hits a point where the fun stops. When you use one solo Pokemon to hog all the experience, you keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And because we're normal type in this game, we're actually getting a ton of stab bonuses for attacks. Things started brutally, but once we hit about level 10, we just cruised. I played up to the first Giovanni fight, and we blacked out 28 times. 12 of those were before Brock, 8 between Brock and Misty, and then only 4 from Misty to Surge and Surge to Erica. The game got progressively easier and easier as our fairy consumed more and more souls. We've ended up in the exact same game state as the Let's Go games. Either I destroy my opponents, or I destroy myself. Maybe GameFreak is right in a way, to keep this move so limited these days. It's a fun party trick, but the only way to really use this move is if you're already overpowered. Or maybe we just need to prove that Metronome is the greatest on God. Arceus, Arceus, I don't care what you call it, all stab moves that can't miss. Versus Clefable, 16 Metronomes only. No, Clefairy, not even weaker, Cleffa. Pokemon Showdown, Cleffa versus God, Infinite Simulations. Surely, somewhere out there, there's a world where this goes toe-to-toe with this. All I need is one universe, one unexpected outcome, one unbelievable series of events that proves to me that Metronome is worth believing in. Most of the time, a judgment does about 90 to 99% of my health, giving Cleffa one chance to get something started with a lucky Metronome. Maybe a special condition, maybe an accuracy modifier. We need something in that first attack to open a window into a realm of possibilities. I've been running hundreds of simulations. I've been beaten down over and over and over and over again. But every once in a while I see Cleffa push, taking Arceus down to 90, maybe even 80% health. You know how they say that given infinite monkeys and infinite typewriters, there's a non-zero chance that you could recreate the works of Shakespeare? Well, I've got infinite Cleffas. And someday, there's gonna be one lucky God Slayer. Okay, so I've been running hundreds of these simulations, and I got to one where I realized that Cleffa's at 1%, usually is at 1% after getting hit by judgment or whatever, but it's staying at 1%, and that's because it used conversion to go to ghost type. And because this Arceus, I don't care what you call it, because this is one that we decided to give only normal type moves, it literally cannot hit us. Hyper Voice, Judgment, it doesn't matter. Boom Burst, 13%. Oh my God, this is it. This is the run. We're gonna be stuck at 1% the entire time. We've already got Arceus down to half health. 4% more, let's go. We are at half Metronome and Arceus is at less than half health. It literally cannot hit us. We are our own enemy. Speed up. Okay, that doesn't matter at all. Come on, come on, come on. Big Cliff, I believe. No roleplay. No, that is a complete waste. We have 5 Metronomes left, and we have to do 38%. Fusion Bolt, 7%. Okay, 31% left, 4 moves. We need to just keep doing like 7% damage, 8% damage, and we can do it. Volt Tackle! Oh my...